How we doing today, guys? I have AIRSHOW with me. All right, so let's just start from the top. Who wants to give me the origin story?
I can kind of help with that. Cody and I, he's the mandolin player. We met when we were probably 16 or 15 or so in Reading, Pennsylvania. That's where we're from. And we just kind of grew up playing music together. AIRSHOW used to be a different band called Aquatic AIRSHOW back in the day in high school. And so we kind of dropped that name. And Cody went to college at MTSU down here outside in Murfreesboro. And after I went to UMBC, like I was just telling you, I came down and we kind of got the band back together and got a new lineup. Found Bill. Bill was the first bass player I ever met in Nashville. And like John was saying a little bit earlier, he came a little bit later. We had an original drummer, Ben, and then we just started moving right around 2016. 4th of July was our first gig as AIRSHOW.
Nice, interesting instrumentation there.
Yeah, I think it stems from we love bluegrass, we love picking around campfires and stuff, but we also love Fish and Widespread Panic and the Grateful Dead, and
I saw some of your sets.
yeah, bands with rockin' rhythm sections.
So you don't feel that the configuration you have limits what you can do?
I don't think so, no, because we use these crazy pedal boards. I don't know if you've ever seen our pedal boards, but they transform our instruments into whatever we want them to sound like.
So it leaves it open there. All right. So you guys have I like talking studios. So you have two EPs and two LPs, correct?
Yep, we've got Lightbulb, Up in the Clouds, Anubis, and Shimmer.
Okay. And two of them were pre-quarantine and two of them were post-quarantine. Can we get into a little bit about, do you feel like it was different recording the ones pre and post or during quarantine?
Not really, because the studio environment is already just a small group of folks that go into it, at least for us. I guess when we did Shimmer, we had to mask up for the tracking. That was interesting. Never did that before. In the studio all day with the
Right.
M90 or whatever. But yeah, I mean, as far as everything after the tracking, it was pretty similar, I thought.
Okay. Good enough. Good enough. Do you want to take me through your process? Do you guys road test stuff first, or is it let's write up a bunch of new tunes, record them, and then we'll see how they morph live?
You guys want
No, it's always road tested. Really, we write it and then we take it out. You know, it's it's cool to see because we've been releasing all these live shows on Spotify. How many times we've played a song before actually releasing the record? So, which is great because that fine tunes everything before you give it the version. And it makes being in the studio a lot easier because you get a couple takes in and you're done because you've done it so much.
Right? Is it all collaboration? Is there a specific song lyricist in the band?
I think everybody, well, mainly, you know, Bill, Steve, and Cody write pretty heavily, and I've written a few. And for the most part, it's somebody comes in with a fleshed out idea as far as lyrics and form, and then that's where the collaboration comes in, is where people go, okay, I think if we do this, it's like you got a writer and then three other editors to work with,
Right.
which is really cool. And for me at least, I can speak for myself. The stuff I've written that I bring in turns out a lot cooler when I bring it to the group because it'll just take on a new life. And I think for all of us, that's kind of how it tends to work.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What do you guys feel like your progression as songwriters has been from the early days to what you're doing now?
I think, well, at least for me personally, I felt like we used to try and be a little more bluegrassy in a sense, but we kind of just evolved. What's the word for like unevolved? Like we were trying to be something that we weren't really, and then we ended up
You
going.
degenerate. You
We,
degenerated.
we went back
Yeah.
to our jam band roots. I feel like, and just started going for more of the jam sound. And where the form doesn't matter, you don't have to have like verse, chorus, bridge, chorus kind of thing. We'll do some of that, but we'll also do like a 13-minute composed song, you know. So
I hear you. Is there a lot of rehearsals involved with getting the vocals tight? Because your vocals are pretty tight.
yeah, I mean, we just try and do it at normal practice. We get together like once a week and for a couple hours and just go over harmonies and forms and stuff.
It shows that you guys are putting in the work there with it. I feel like a lot of jam bands lack two things: solid lyrics and solid vocals. And I think you guys are checking both those boxes there. So I'm excited.
Well, thank you.
um, when you guys tour, how what's the biggest tour you've gone on?
For like a month being gone for about a month at a time. Yeah, that's usually involves heading up to the Northeast, where Steve and Cody are from, and just hitting all sorts of different spots along the way. Trying to not kill ourselves with the driving, like play at some place and then go 3 hours away. So that's always
Right,
nice.
instead of doing 500 miles between gigs.
Yeah.
Oh, we can't handle that.
So
Yeah.
you guys in a van? You do a couple cars and a trailer? How do you work it?
So Cody and I both have Kia Sedona minivans.
Oh,
Mine
nice.
is silver and his is black. We got a hitch on the back and we pull a little tater tot trailer, we call it. It's like probably 6x4. It's real small.
Right. And is it just the four of you guys, or do you have a sound guy with you? Anything?
It's just the four of us. Occasionally we'll bring a lighting guy. He may or may not drive separately. I mean, we've packed lights in to the van before and it's a heavy pack, but
Right. I always look at Billy Strings and I'm like, his crew's got it so easy. There's
yeah,
no drums, no keyboards, you know.
we're driving 4 hours to the show, setting up, doing the soundboard recordings ourselves, going, doing everything. So
Right. And you guys go right to Spotify, you said, huh? No Bandcamp?
no Bandcamp. Most bands do Nugs, but I
think
guess
Nugs has to knock on your door, huh?
yeah. So we just decided, like, screw it. We'll just put them up on Spotify and.
Right.
No,
Do you find that do you have anything like to test it against? Did you ever use Bandcamp, or you just?
I've never used Bandcamp. No.
Okay. I find a lot of bands do that, and apparently it's a good deal because you can sell it, or you can even say you can give me $1 for a copy of the recording,
Okay.
kind of thing. So how does Spotify work? Is it working for you?
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
You're getting some eyes.
Well, the
Ears?
numbers are coming up steadily. We're getting some good streams, and I think the process of getting it up there is just so easy that we figured, well, not enough people are hearing us right now, and if the way to do that is just putting out more albums, then that's what we'll do.
Right. And they're all tracked out. Everything's tracked out.
Everything's multi-tracked. I do all the mixing right here in this room that I'm sitting in.
Nice. So there's a little bit of a gap between the show and when it's actually
Yeah.
there.
I wish ideally we would want to do it right after the show, and I probably could. I'm getting closer to turning that around. I have my iLock that I can put in my computer and mix with headphones on and stuff. So
Right, Pro Tools?
I use Logic.
Logic.
I've been using Logic for about 12 years now.
All right, very nice. So we're talking about streaming a little bit. Where do you see? I mean, I guess your bread and butter ultimately is going to be the live performance as opposed to selling records like Adele or something. Will, where do you see the industry going with streaming as like the model for everything now?
It's
Something
not
we
a
have.
model for jam bands, I feel like.
Right, live. It seems live music is the model,
Gotta
but
go out and play and sell T-shirts and connect face to face with new fans every night, and then we can't really rely on streams.
right, build the community.
Yeah,
Sync licensing, syncing, finding someone to stick your song in a movie is.
that would be sweet.
I just thought, what if you asked me that question in 1998, and I just had that whole scenario pop into my head.
I hear you with that. I hear you. So,
Yeah. I would answer your question with another question.
Right, right. I hear you. So, you guys, you carry a bunch of merch with you,
Yeah.
right? Do you have like a fan club kind of thing, like Spafford says, the Spaff Nerds? Do you guys got a core group that you call something?
Yeah, we our fans are part of what's called Hosky Nation. That probably doesn't make any sense to you.
Yeah, we need a little explanation on that.
Hosky is just a word that Cody and I started saying back in high school and stuff, is like a code, kind of like a code word for just to get away with anything, talk about things behind our parents' backs, or that kind of thing. And it just became we just kind of adopted it as our slogan, so nobody really knows what it means, and that's part of the fun.
All right, there you go.
Hosky t-shirts.
You know the John T is from Pennsylvania, and John T was something that they said to each other in high school.
Yeah, so, Jaunt is a Philly thing. So
yeah, right. Yes, they explained. They walked me through it, and I'm only 90 minutes from Philly, but it's another world to me. So,
oh yeah,
what can I do with that? So you're out on the road. What are some crazy things that's happened to you at a show or a gig?
What do you think, John?
I think the blessing is that the craziest thing with this band is the music that happens on stage.
No naked guys or anything, huh?
What's that?
No naked guys or anything.
No. We have some pretty rousing games of Mario Party after the shows. So those
the rock star life there, huh?
Yeah, in Knoxville like 2 weeks ago, and the water main like broke on the floor above us, and so the power went out, and we had to load out real quick, and there was like a waterfall coming down off the building, like right next to the van.
Jeez, that's crazy. So they canceled the show on you?
Well, we got to finish the set, and then I think the band after us kind of got there.
Yeah, the power went out, and John did like a 10-minute drum solo, and then the power came back on, and we did like one more song, and then called it.
There you go. Good job there.
Out, and then we played the song. We finished the song without power.
Oh yeah,
right. And y'all like yelled.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And then we were walking off, and these guys were yelling for a drum solo. So I was playing the solo, and the power came back on.
And you're like, let's do a song. Let's get another one in.
Yeah.
Before we're flooded.
I had actually heard a story from back in the day. There was a place called the Warehouse in New Orleans, which was like the big venue where all
the Allman Brothers' famous concert there.
Yeah, and the first show they had there was the Grateful Dead and Fleetwood Mac. And one of the times the Dead played there, the power went out, like lights and everything, and they lit a bunch of candles and got out acoustics and played for the crowd. And I always thought that was one of the coolest stories.
That is cool.
Yeah,
that is cool. That's probably what the line in Truckin' is about after one of those shows or before them.
No, that was, I think, the first weekend they played there, and they were staying at a hotel on Bourbon Street and literally got a drug bust. And there's a recording of the next night where the MC's on stage, and they're about to play, and he's like, "We'd like to thank everybody who made this night possible." And I think it was Phil went to the mic and goes, "The New Orleans Police Department."
Let's just throw a little gasoline on the fire there.
Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I have heard that story, something to that effect before. You
Mhm.
guys are deadheads, fish heads, that kind of thing. What are your roots?
I'm more
I
of
think we're kind of everything heads, really. Like,
a,
honestly, we're all over the place, man.
Mhm.
I've
You
seen
know,
Fish probably 40 times between 2009 and the bulk of my shows between '09 and like 2016 or so, right when AIRSHOW started,
Right.
playing up more seriously.
Which means that you can't go to other people's concerts.
It's
The
tough,
the
yeah.
the key is to do the after show somewhere, so you can go to the show and then just run over to the bar during the encore.
And you got to sound check. We got to play a wedding gig in Vegas, and the band went to go see Fish at the MGM like the next day. That was pretty sweet.
Nice. So
Yeah.
what, in 21?
Yeah,
The
October.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Halloween run there. Yeah,
that's right.
that
Mhm.
place. Oh my god, I went out there just for Halloween, and they didn't have the AC one, I guess, because they had fire for
Oh,
like the show, and they couldn't have the AC one, and everyone I knew got COVID. COVID doesn't like me. I didn't get it, but speaking of COVID, how did COVID affect the band's operations, your interactions?
well,
Well,
go
it
ahead,
kind of
Bill.
shut down for a month, and then, but then, like when it's like, okay, you can kind of get together in small groups, and yeah, we just kept using that as opportunity to arrange newer songs. Like pretty much everything on Shimmer got put together, going over to Steve and Cody's house at the time, and so yeah, we just kept working as much as we could,
Any live streams?
oh yeah,
in that, yeah.
yeah.
Hmm.
And some really really fun ones over at their place as well. They had this place in Jolton that was kind of in the middle of nowhere, which was nice. And we set up on their back porch, with the trees and the sun in the background. It was beautiful, and we would just do an hour show, and
Yep.
that was it.
Yep.
No editing or anything like that. It's just like that was what you got. So it was really cool.
It seems like we ended up with two kinds of bands, ones that did what you did and ones that didn't. And I don't know. I mean, you see what it did for Goose. They went from opening for Pigeons to owning the world, playing on Radio City or whatever, Rockefeller Center, wherever they played on the roof that one night. Oh, it's crazy
We
talk.
got the Pigeons at a Brooklyn Bowl last year.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah,
They're
Hmm.
great
very.
guys. They all live in Baltimore. They're all near me. Gator lives like 15, 20 minutes from me.
I tried to
Um,
sell Jeremy Shawn a guitar when I worked at Bill's Music. When I was,
in Catonsville.
he didn't buy it though. No.
Nice. Well, I bought a bass guitar when I was 13 on a payment plan from Bill's Music. I paid $5 a week for like 3 months in order
Nice.
to get the bass guitar, which I
Yeah,
promptly never
they-
touched.
Yeah.
So that's where we end up. What's your guys? Do you guys have a philosophy when music, when the band?
Hmm.
I think we all just love trying to get to the explore different unknown territories to us, like taking the song and yeah, just making it different. And you can't do that every time. You just got to just really be feeling it. I think that's kind of like a high for me that I think we all try to keep getting back to, and so that's one aspect I think we all just are really going for um, at our shows.
I think if it makes you feel good and you're showing that it's making you feel good, it's going to make them feel good.
It is the worst with mopey people on stage.
Yeah.
Do you find a disconnect between? I guess Steve, this may go to you. When you go back and listen to the show, do you find a disconnect between how you felt when you walked off stage sometimes and what you're hearing back?
Yeah, it's actually crazy. We talk about this all the time because one of us will walk off stage and be like, "Oh, it's just kind of a weird night," But then I'll be like, "Man, just wait till you hear the recording. I swear it'll be amazing." And then, sure enough, we'll sit down. I'll put it on, mix it up, And I'll be like, damn, what show is this? I'll be like, oh, this is that one where you did not have fun or whatever. Or I don't want to say it like that, but
Right.
so
Well,
it always is a pleasant surprise, I think.
there's that infamous story about Phil or Jerry pushing the other one down the steps, and they ended up using those tapes for Live Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, we're not on that level. We love each other.
Right. I guess, yeah, that's like being super in love, pushing someone down the steps. Huh?
That
Jeez.
mentality, with knowing that fact, like now that we know that, maybe at set break, it's easy to like adjust and be like, okay, everything really is good. It's all, everything is working. We're playing fine. The soundboard will be great.
Right.
So
Who do you feel drives the jams, or is it a total band thing? Like a lot of times the guitars will drive, like with Fish, the guitar drives it, and then they let it go when they get into type 2.
Yeah, I think Bill and John drive it, honestly, because a lot of our jams will start with me and Cody just kind of backing down and letting them just kind of build up a nice groove.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and I would say that a lot of that just comes from listening to each other. Like I'll get an idea from something Steve will played or something Cody will played or Bill, so I think it's a group effort, really.
Mm.
It drives itself. It's a self-driving vehicle.
Well, that's good. That's the zen of it, right? It's like inertia satori. You're just going forward in enlightenment at the moment there.
We started using in-ear monitors about 2 years ago, and that really adjusted or it fine-tuned how we listen to each other, and I feel like our jams leveled up big time.
Right, and you do your own monitor mix, each of you, while you're on stage.
Yep, it's all hardwired from our rack, which is, I wish I could show it to you, but it's just sitting right there. We just have XLRs that come out of it into. I might be able to show you. Anyways, it's a little pack, and just plug the headphones into it, clips on your belt, and we have an iPad that can mix, all the separate channels and stuff.
Right, it's strange to me sometimes to not see the wedges on stages anymore for monitors.
It's a combination. We use
A lot of times we'll just have the monitors on stage just so people aren't weirded out by it,
Yeah.
Out of it.
Wait a minute, they're playing to it. They're Manili Vanilli out there.
So somebody doesn't spill beer on my pedal board.
Right, yeah, I hear you with that. The first time I saw Fish, they were at a bar, and I put my beer on the stage in front of Trey, went to the bathroom, and came back and grabbed my beer. And he gave me a funny look. Like, probably he's like, don't spill your beer on my shit, dick.
He still uses some of those pedals, so.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear you. All right, so if I looked at your guys' Spotify, besides what you put up, what's on there? What are you listening to these days?
Oh, man.
Let's see.
I listen to a bunch of Radiohead. I love Radiohead. I listen to a lot of podcasts, too, recently.
I just did a freelance gig where I was filling in for this band from LA for 4 shows. And I had the last one last night, so I was listening to a lot of their stuff. But looks like here I got Phoebe Bridgers, Lee Morgan. Nice. I also went to see Kimbra with my wife at the Basement East.
Oh, cool.
Here in Nashville. That last week? No, a couple weeks ago. And that was a fantastic show. Yeah. We're kind of all over. What you been listening to?
I've been listening to that The Gorge that Fish put out. That's been a great show to dive into. I listen to a lot of I love Weather Report. That's probably my favorite band. So always checking them out and it's kind of stuff like that.
Nice. So how is living in Nashville? Do you find that helps you creatively? Does it feed your artist?
Totally. I mean, there's so many places to play here. It's such a great place to develop as a band. There's a place Steve and Cody used to live right by called D's Country Cocktail Lounge that we played a lot. And actually, early in quarantine, they had us for a residency. It was 3 shows, and that's where we started doing, full set of Dead, full set of Panic, full set of Fish, plus one original set. And, I can't, I don't know of a lot of places like that where they'll, it's either one place will take in a band or, a few places in the city will take in a band and you can just play, just get out there and not only play, but you can check out a lot of bands and players that'll influence your playing as well. It's a wonderful scene to be a part of.
Right. Well, last time I was in Nashville, I was seeing Fish a few years back, and of course, you end up on what is that, Broadway. If I was coming to hang out with you guys to see music in Nashville, what clubs would I be going to?
We'd be going to D's for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
D's,
that's
Roberts on Broadway is really cool. That's kind of the traditional country spot on there.
We just played a great we played a great show at Acme Feed and Seed on Broadway. That's at the tail end of Broadway near the river. And they actually let you play original music. You don't have to go there and play like top 40 or AC/DC or some random stuff.
Do you guys know some AC/DC?
If you were here on a Tuesday, you'd have to go to Honky Tonk Tuesday at the American Legion. And I haven't been there in a while, but Rudy's Jazz Club, we got a nice jazz spot here. And I played a place called The Underdog last night, which is really, really cool. And looks like we kept exit in, so yeah.
Right. Is there a jam band scene there? I mean, you think of Nashville, you think country, obviously. Is there a rock jam band alternative scene?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's also pretty much every genre you can think of is represented here as well. The first band I played with when I moved up here was like an Afro-Cuban band. That was like definitely unexpected, but it was a lot of fun. So yeah, it kind of has it all.
Nice.
I mean, Jason Eagle's here, Kings of Leon's still here. Moon Taxi. There's a lot of bands basing their operations out here. I think Brittany Howard from Alabama Shakes is here now. Oh yeah, the indie Americana scene is thriving. The rock scene is great. Paramore's back on the scene now.
Right. Yes. I saw they put
so,
out an album. Have you listened to the album?
I haven't yet. I think my wife has. I need to check it out. She's a big Haley fan, so yeah.
When I talked, we talked to Raina Mullen from Ghostlight, and she said that was her favorite band growing up. So,
yeah,
it's interesting to hear things like that and go back and listen. Like you said, Radiohead. You were a big Radiohead fan, Steve. I wonder if I go back and listen if I can find any Radiohead influence in the songwriting.
I bet you could. It's the greatest show I've ever seen live. And
wow, that's big.
Man, I'm telling you, my friends probably get mad at me how much I listen to Radiohead.
That's right. Mike Dillon said he listened to Elliott Smith so much that his wife got mad at him all the time because
he's also one of my all-time favorite songwriters. And but yeah, I got to be in a special mood to put on some Elliott Smith.
Yeah, my 16-year-old, she's in love with him. She has a wall with just pictures of him. So
really, Elliott Smith?
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Oh, you ought to check
out. Huh?
I was going to say she's the hippest kid ever.
You ought to check out Christian Lee Hudson. That's my favorite right now.
Okay.
That's opened for Bright Eyes at the Ryman last year, and me and my wife went see him at the end a few months ago, and that guy is like one of my favorite songwriters right now. He's incredible.
How was Bright Eyes?
You haven't heard?
No.
I went because John Theodore, who was the original Mars Volta drummer, was playing drums for him. And that dude is one of my all-time favorites. Like, not only is he an influence, but like people he influenced, or people who he was influenced by. I got into Tony Williams through him. I got into Billy Cobham through him, Elvin Jones. So he was like a gateway player for me. And, I hadn't seen him since I was 18. And I was like, oh, man, he's playing for Bright Eyes. I go like, we got to go. And the band was killer. And Connor, everyone I talked to who was also at that show, I was like, is this an act or something? And it's like, no, it turns out dude was you know,
He was
little
drinking? Was it drugs?
under
Drink?
the influence. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
his songwriting, you know, who knows? No, I had not heard that he fell apart there. I saw Van Morrison once, and after the third song, he walked off stage because he was pissed off about the lights, and he never came back on.
Well, yeah, I guess you got to give him that. Homeboy finished the show, at least.
Uh,
Didn't walk off.
so you guys got some dates coming up and some festivals I think you have planned. Do you want to run through that with me?
Yes. So on April 1st, we are playing Mental Awakening at a Steady Hand Brewing in Atlanta, and Spafford and Orange Constant will also be on that festival.
Nice, very nice. And this is a brewery?
Yes.
All right, cool. Anything else you're looking at for the summer?
Yeah. I mean, we're actually we booked a really great run, so we're going to be at Merry Widow in Mobile, which is a big jam band club there. It's right across from Alabama Music Box, and that's going to be on June 30th. And the next day, we're at Good Earth Records in Bay St. Louis, Mississippi. They'll have Crab Fest going on in the city, so that's going to be awesome. And then that Monday, we're at a Hi Ho Lounge in New Orleans.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so we yeah, it's going to be a good
New
summer.
New Orleans in June or July, so you're ready for it to be like 190 degrees. And so, are you guys your own manager, booking agent, all that stuff too?
Yep, we do all that ourselves. Cody, our mandolin player, he does all the booking for us right now. Yeah, we're trying. That's one of our next steps, is hoping to get picked up by an agency to kind of help us out a little bit with some of that stuff. Put us on some of those bigger lineups.
Like get into the bigger festivals. Even if you are the 11 a.m. slot, somebody's going to walk by and see you.
It's happening. We have a few festivals in the fall that haven't been announced yet that we're pretty stoked about. But
right, gotta keep quiet. I hear you.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming on, spending a little time with us. I'm gonna stop the recording and we'll talk for a sec.